how you can have a conversation about something that we don't always feel comfortable talking about. But we always want the best for that person in our family who's aging, who's elderly. And so we hope that through our conversation today, looking at it from different angles, voices not only from the panel but from the group that is gathered here, we'll be able to throw more light so that you, aware of your situation, might make a decision that is best suitable for you, your family, and for your loved ones.
It's a very deceptively simple topic, but when you get into the nitty-gritty, it's not only very sensitive, but also kind of complicated. So to try and simplify things, at the outset, I want to say that there is no right or wrong answer. Each person's situation is very unique, and we are playing the role of giving different perspectives on these issues.
You mentioned one live example regarding one couple who wanted and who had no children. I also have few number of cases who had come to us. They are also very young couples. Young means in their 75, but both have no children. Similar cases like that. And both of them wanted to move to a home. And once they come and seen and they were very happy. They said, if I have to go, sister, I will be coming in this home only. But at the moment we both are healthy, we will manage it. But we want to move when we are no more able to handle our own personal matters and issues and all. And then we will think of coming. But we are ready to even build another room for you so that we can have a similar setup from their house to here.
Elderly home or home for the aged, whatever you call it, I have a different perspective of this. I don't like the idea of going to old age home. God has given us enough strength and willpower to do the work.
Welcome back to the continuing episode of Aging Gracefully, a talk show for evergreens. We've been looking at this very important dimension of care, supervised care for the elders, and of course, in that context, the senior citizen homes. So it has been a look at different dimensions concerning these issues. And so we will continue with this as it unfolds. I'd like now to move into something that you already referred to, but we need to look at a little more in depth, is the different kinds of models when it comes to senior citizen home. I know you shared it earlier. It will be good for all of us to listen to what it is about.
Sure. Now, we hear a lot about senior citizens' homes, the sort of facilities. In fact, to be very honest, there's a huge aspect of commercialization which is also setting in. Right? A lot of us open newspapers, get onto the internet, a lot of advertisements for senior citizens' homes. In fact, I remember reading an ad around a week back which boasted of a senior citizen home which had more than 120 facilities. Now, highly unlikely that anyone is going to use all of those facilities, but that's the direction which these homes are going towards. So when we talk about models, I'll just break it into two specific parts. One is models in terms of the facilities available. For instance, we have the traditional senior citizens homes wherein you have facilities like there's a recreation room. People get a chance to get together, exchange ideas. Many instances they eat together. These are models which are focused on the person and more of facilities where you have all elders living together. Then you have models which are so-called intergeneration models. It was a rage around 6 years back. Many such facilities opened up in the United Kingdom, wherein what they did was they had senior citizens and they also brought in small kids, kindergarten kids, who'd spend around half a day with them. And the sort of interaction which the elders had with these small kids made a big difference in terms of, and they actually tracked the changes in the cognitive function, their levels of happiness and things like that. So this interaction with small children seemed to make a very, very big difference. Now going forward, and I think Sister will also talk about it briefly, we are seeing more and more examples wherein these homes actually tie up with schools and colleges. And you have students who volunteer at regular intervals in these homes, giving the the residents a chance to interact with them and feel that they're not abandoned. Because one of the big concerns, and even statistically, around 33% of people who were enrolled in a home like this said that their family never came back after that, which sort of adds to this whole feeling of being abandoned. Right? So going forward, there are new models being experimented wherein you have these homes in the middle of a community, and these homes are actually opened up to the community so that the citizens who are staying there feel that they are part of an extended community, get a chance to interact more with them, and this whole feeling of being isolated reduces. Now, add to that this whole trend about access to the internet. You have technologies, you have video conferencing, you have Zoom, you have what have you. The whole way this thing is evolving is giving the seniors a chance to interact with their family, interact with their relatives at a deeper scale. Having said that, I think we all accept the fact that there is no substitute to the human touch, no substitute to meeting people in person, interacting in person. But in situations where that's not possible, we always use technology to help leverage that. So it's a very interesting stage we are at in terms of how facilities, infrastructure, what can be done in these homes. And the more posher ones tend to be called the senior living communities. The evolution, and it seems to be by and large positive, provided you're able to manage the commercial aspects. The second important aspect of this whole situation is the finances. Right? And I was very pleasantly surprised when I heard that some of the institutions of the homes run by the missionaries charge around 10 to 15,000 a month in Indian rupees, which is very, very low when you do a calculation for it in terms of the cost per day. And remember that this includes food twice a day, or tea or snacks, as well as actually staying there. Right? So generally, the type of models you tend to see is you have a model wherein a senior citizen can actually buy out the particular unit, wide range between 10 to 80 to 90 lakhs, depending on how the facility is. Some places have like a studio, one-bedroom studio. So then the residents have the option of making something of their own, an area for cooking and stuff like that. Invariably, nearly all these places have a facility where food is provided. And depending on the sort of place you're at, it's highly controlled in terms of nutrition and stuff like that. You have other models where you just pay a huge lump sum, upwards of 1 crore, and then there's no payment after that. There's no monthly payments. So the reason I'm bringing this up is it's very important because people nowadays, like sister was also mentioning, she had a couple come there and tell them that they want to move into a home after some time. So a lot of this planning for when they become elders, seniors is starting to happen. Right? But there's a huge financial cost associated with it. Right? And if you look at the way life expectancy is going up, and I'm so happy to see that we have people in our audience today above 90, late 80s, phenomenal. And when you see life expectancy going up, and there have actually been some studies which said that earlier people lived 60, 70, max 75. And they also planned their finances, their situation, in such a manner that they would live to be 70 or 75. But if the life expectancy goes up to the late 80s, the late 90s, there's a considerable cost involved. So how do you plan for that financial aspect? That's something which we need to really take care of. And as I mentioned earlier, when you look at who's paying for what, invariably the children end up paying a huge percentage of the costs associated with the parents living. So there are different models. And another very interesting thing, just to put it in context, is we've heard that when you're young and you plan for your retirement, you tend to be very positive about it and look at all the opportunities, look at the possibilities that moving into a home would bring. But as you start getting older, as you reach the point where you have to make that call, there are a lot of apprehensions. Making that decision is finally never as easy as one would imagine it would be.
Thank you for taking us through all these various models. And it's interesting, you might get the impression that you can check into this home only if you have tons of money or pots of money. It's interesting that every diocese or diocesan website lists a number of places of senior citizen home which people look around to see which one suits their pocket. I mean, you get some like the Little Sisters of the Poor, known worldwide, who reach out only to the destitute. But there are others, again, with varying scales. And sometimes finance is a big matter when it comes to especially those run by religious congregations or sisters. Because some of them, honestly, as he spoke about, do with service. Others go away feeling the sense of that, you're not fully getting your value for money. And that creates a very negative feeling in homes such as these, because they feel that it's only a front to sustain some other thing that's going on. If it's for some orphanage or something, one understands. But if, it has other connotations. So I think because we do not want to give an impression that this is just for an elite conversational point, but we want to talk about this, the lives of people at different ends of the spectrum, particularly those who are hampered by the lack of finance to provide some of the facilities that come with aging. Because it's not only your own savings, but if you don't have children, then you do not have that extra buffer to help you in this process. And I thank you because, again, we are putting it all out there so that this is part of the conversation piece that people must look at when they're going to discern and decide where they're going to get this ongoing care, whether in their personal homes or in an institutional home that provides such kind of care, but which comes naturally because it costs. It costs today to provide even the basic services and the struggle to make it in that dimension. So now that brings me to, I was teasing sister before the program. We are not here to do publicity for Holy Spirit Home, but the testimonies are there. But just to help those who are thinking, what would be the process for anyone who would be interested, say, in signing up? I'm sure there would be points of similarity with other homes as well, but just let's get a practical experience of what does it mean if somebody says, we want to sign up at your place. What does it involve for you?
Father, thank you for asking this question, and I am happy to explain certain points that when anybody who asks for or planning to join the Holy Spirit, first of all, we have to see they have already discussed in their families. It is also planning has to be taken place. And once they plan out and they come for inquiries, they come to see the homes. They visit a number of homes already. But then once they come and they see the place and facilities, they make a choice of decision. Like we can say our person who is sitting right in front, she had gone number of homes. So same way, many of them do visit, and then finally they make a choice. So when they come to, first and foremost I ask them, is the parent is interested? If not, no. And I also would like to see the parent who is coming here. So always I encourage that one. They have to make a choice of their own. If they are cognitively okay, sensory, everything, I don't expect 100% of their health background, because many of them get sick. So they come and they see also certain amount of orientation to or socialization to different persons in the home. They see the facilities in the house, see the ambience around, all those things part of it. Once they finalize and they want to know, then we also see if there are rooms available. If rooms are available, of course, we allow them to go ahead with the admission procedures. If not, we keep a record of their list. As and when the rooms are available, we inform them and then allow them to get in. But children has to do lot of play into it. So they also see the home and they make the decision, and they see that when the parent come, before that all setting up has to be done, because we are not providing everything what they want. So certain amount of things they themselves arrange and set it. And before the parent come to the house, they have to see that like something similar to their depicting to their house here. we receive them with a warm welcome, and at the same time see they are another home away from home. So that is what I...
Thank you for spelling out in brief that the process that you follow. In fact, a couple of people shared with me. One of them said, I made sure that the room that my mother was going to was very much similar to what she was already living. So there comes that sense of familiarity. In another instance, the son stayed with the mother for the whole week, just to accompany them in the process so that they will feel so much at home before they finally move away. So there are other aspects in this whole process that enables them, because not even if people might say they are agreeable, it might not always be 100%. Okay, it's like I've got no choice, but so therefore I might have go. So how do you make this process?
Yeah, it's as doctor also said, there are points, which immediately they may not be happy and coming to, but there is a lot of apprehension in them. How is it going to be and things. So as exactly what you said, there are some or the other, they come and stay in that bedroom of mother. Though we have few guest rooms available, so that when the parent is sick or anything, they can occupy that room and so it within the reach every time. So other than that, they stay in their own homes itself, in their rooms itself, and they make them socializing with number of other residents who are staying there, move around the surroundings, familiarizing, all that is taking place, and they feel comfortable. After 1-2 weeks, they move out to their workplaces. That is a reality that is taking place. They see that food is given according to their taste and all kinds of things. So food is an essential part of it. Orientation to the place is very essential to it. And our interaction with them and socializing, all this part of our welcoming part.
At best of times, transfers and transitions are not easy. Okay? Even in your younger years, you're moving to another city, you're going to a new job, transitions are never easy, and they don't happen with a click of a finger. And I think we must understand this as a process, more than just as an event. And I think that really, so to the extent that this person itself is prepared, to the extent the family has a support system, and to the extent that the home provides that ambience, makes what might have been a difficult situation less bearable.
Father, let me add one more point. It is not for everybody. It is a couple of them, because children are out of the place and things. But there are a number of them willingly come and they already involved into it, and there's no problem at all. So for few of them only it happens. Otherwise, mostly they themselves come, they get used to the place. Children repeatedly contact them through either video calls. Now everything is possible, or internet connection is given to their own rooms so that they can have. So all kinds of possible things are provided for them within that room. So that is how it's not everyone needs children to remain and make them feel. Most of them come by their own wish to come. That's what.
Thank you. You shared different dimensions of the process that would be involved, and that involved the relationship dimension, particularly with the elders, with the family. But what about the legal process? Is that also part of the component when somebody enters the home, and what does that involve?
Thank you, Father, for this question. There are some legal aspect also is there, because once they come to home, it is ultimately our responsibility to take care. There are some forms to be signed. In that, agreement forms are there. In that, we also ask them to provide some requirements like that. One thing is their medical background. Suddenly, if they come and say they were perfectly okay, and then they fall into any problems, then we have difficulty. So we ask them to get a medical fitness certificate. Whatever the medicines, whether they are hypertensive or diabetic, or that is not an issue. But we need to know what they are really going through. So that we expect. The second part is who are their legal heir. That in the sense that we need to have, because we are also taking certain amount of deposit and then monthly. And then, so we need also who is the nominee to the person. So that point we do it. And another point, we need a local guardian. See, elderly or anyone, anytime can be in the hands of God. So anything happens, we need to have contact with the person. So local guardian is important. though we try to do maximum for them, but then sometimes we need their assistance, especially with regard to hospitalization. With regard to if anything happens, any fall or things, we need to inform them. So we expect a nominee, a local guardian. And then another thing is we are also asking them to certain amount of records, like I said, medical fitness certificate, as well as their Aadhaar card, because at the end of our life we all need an Aadhaar card records.
So the
personal identity card for them, that is important, because that is for any cause of death we need to bring. And then these are some of the basic things we are asking from them. And then there is an agreement form which they have lot of questionnaires are there, which need to be, whether legally they are involved in anything, what is any other, we have certain set questions are there. So they have to fill and sign and agree. Then another one is there, in the campus or in the home we are responsible, but once they move out of the campus, that is not in our, because sometimes what happens, they move by themselves out, because some of them are really able, they move out. If something happens, they should not blame us. So then ultimately we sisters don't go after any legal matters like that. Then that should not be a blame on us. That will be signed by the nominee or local guardian. It need to be signed. So if tomorrow something happens, we had one or the other issues when they were crossing the river, something happened and it had some injury. So then we are answerable to it. So we ask them this kind of legal things to be done, signed and given.
Thank you for that, because when you have something legal, it's a protection not just for the home, but also protection for the elder, that, you know, fences and boundaries are not to keep people out, but to protect those who are in. And I think, thank you for giving us that dimension of the legal aspect. We've talked about how some would make a choice to continue in home care for their elders, others would make a choice to enter a home. So from your experience, since you were the one who initiated that and continue with it even today, what are the advantages of the elders coming to a home? How would it serve them? From your experience, maybe you've got a few things to list out for us.
Some of the advantages, maybe Father, I can tell you. One thing is, it's a 24/7 care. So almost every time we are also living in the house itself, one after other rooms. It's a hexagonal building, so anytime anybody can enter into our place also, because next to my room is another resident is. So like that it is mixed up. So anytime when they need a care, they can contact us. It's a 24/7. Nursing care also. See, if a person need hospitalization, then only they will go to. Otherwise, most of the care is taken care by us. And then once they discharge and come or anything happens, we can give all the like IV fluids, injections, all continuing that follow-up care is taken care. Doctor's visit is there, that is another advantage. And it is also a safety security place. They have lot of place for move around. Lot of side rails are there on the corridors. So whether day or night they can move around and they have a place for that. Then another thing is, another important advantage they have is, being in the Catholic home, there is a lot of spiritual advantage. We have daily Eucharist in the home. And then we have also other like daily rosary, Divine Mercy Rosary and things, adorations, all that is there. But there is no compulsion for anybody. It is up to them. But what I notice is, in spite of their ailing situations, pains, joy, all these, most of them come in wheelchair. They will come in the wheelchair for attending Mass. So that is another spiritual aspect. When they are very sick and when they are almost in their last stages, we also see that they are being given the anointing of the sick. But otherwise, regularly we have these confessions, and many of them, anytime when they ask also, we do. So that way spiritual aspect is taken care. Regarding we also have certain amount of recreational facilities. Recreational in the sense, we meet them often enough. We have both indoor and outdoor games are there. whichever they can play. Simple housey and all they mostly enjoy, and they wait for that. So recreational activities are there. And there are schools, we have 2 schools in the campus itself. So they also come and join the programs there. We have very close, in the next to our door is a children's home is there. So these elders, some of them are to keep active. They go into children, give them tuition. These are all, it's a single parent. Everything is provided by us only. So these elderly normally give them the either tuition or reading practices. That way it is being given. We have also with recreational activities like cognitive treatment, memory, if anything is like variety of recreational activities are there. Now currently it is running on alternate days, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, 3 days for continuous programs, variety of entertainments they have. So it keeps them alive and active in their mind. Then social interactions we have. See, even if food and accommodation is not there alone, they go one to another, sharing their pains, aches. It's a social home. So that way, when one is sick, they pray for that person or go and meet them. It is like, it is my home, like that it is. Other than that is the nutritional aspect, we take care very carefully because some of them need to have special diets. So it is being taken care, some are with like low blood sugar or sugar or salt, etc. we need to have. Then some of them, especially when they have Alzheimer's or dementia and these cases, the carer is there. They stay in their room. Sometimes they can run away from the homes. So they stay very close to it, especially when they are invalid and they are not able to manage themselves. The carer is taken care. It's with the carer, most of them is that. So they manage. Instead of keeping at home one carer, they have here. So that under the supervision of the sisters, they take care of that part of it. Then one sister go round about counseling and support to them, meet them every day. And if any difficulties what they have, and then she supports them and guidelines like that. And of course it is an advantage, they are free for themselves. They are in their room, they say, come to my home. It is set home like. So they say, come to my home, especially some of them really say, come to my room, sister. Come to room means my home. Some say room. So what we can see is everything is in it. They have their own facilities of TV, mobile connections, or they have their own like a fridge, or when their children come, they have their facility to entertain there, like that. Things are there. Then another facility we can say home deliveries are there, like medical home deliveries, or lab technicians come, physiotherapists come. Then any online, sometimes they like one burger, they just order and eat sometimes. So like that facilities are provided. Then another important thing is guest rooms are available so that when children come from far and wide, they can stay there. Even local, when they are here, they would like to stay one day. Father is sick or mother is sick, they want to stay, they come and stay. So guest rooms are available. Then what else? And we assist their final journey. That is more important. When they are in their last stages, if some of the children, because they are in their real struggling stage, they don't want to take home, then we also give them time for spiritual advices. They can bring, like non-Catholics, they can bring their guru and things and have prayer services and things. We do that way. So that way everything is tried to reach up to, and then when the end stage come, we do all care for them, accompany them till the graveyard or to the cremation ground, and then give them off mass and offerings, everything possible. All possible services we are trying to do.
So it's quite comprehensive because it's not only external factors but internal. External is the security that they would probably not have if they were living separately, but here within the confined spaces, but also different dimensions, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's cultural, whether it's spiritual. And so I think these are some of the blessings. I know that these are the ideal situation. Sometimes some or the other might feel one aspect lacking or the other, but at least this is a clear, and I remember saying the vision and the mission that you have for your home is that what you want to live by. And I think, thank you for spelling this out. Would you like to share something about your experience, positive experience of the home? Because then we will go into the challenges. If you want to share the challenges later also, that's also possible.
So my name is Reena Philips, and all here have been talking of different aspects of different homes. But I'll just say a few things about my personal feelings and how I'm living in Holy Spirit home. So I'll just tell you my experiences. I came here when I was 85, and I'm here almost 7 years. So I think that experience will be a good assessment for you all to know what I have gone through in this place. Sister Reena has been an angel right through for all of us. She's sitting right in front of me. So now leaving my home was not a problem. It was sort of amicably settled between me and the children because, my age is 92 now. So my children are all seniors. They're all senior citizens. So the time came when who will look after who. It was that sort of a thing in our family. So it was who will bell the cat now. It was that way. So now how do we speak? And then slowly I got the idea that if I move out, I think things will settle because I'm not in a position to look after any of them either. So I thought over it. And then we all had a sort of, when the children got together, we had a meeting and we sort of discussed things. And they too, I think, which was in their minds, but couldn't speak out. They thought it was, they accepted the idea. So at that time, at 2018, 2nd of January, I remember, I decided and came here to this home. As Sister says, I looked around for so many homes, but every home I saw, my mind was going back to Holy Spirit. So my son also came with me, says, Mom, I didn't want to influence you, but I too like that home very much. So we decided and came to Holy Spirit. What I liked about the place is the ambience. You didn't feel you were coming to a home. I felt I was walking into my own home. And as you say, the children had set up my room and things like that later, according to what I was, even my own bed, my fridge, so many little things have been brought, which I feel, I call it my one-bedroom flat. Anyone comes, I say, this is my one-bedroom flat, because everything is here. So I'm really very, very happy, and this is truly from my heart that I'm saying it. I've not had a day of sadness in this home, not a day. God has kept me well, and these are the angels with us. I'm honestly saying it. The first thing that I was grateful for was the chapel, because that is what we need at this age more than anything else. And it is because it saved us dressing and going out and, togging up for church and all that, which was difficult now. I was so relieved that the chapel was, just take a lift and you're there. And we could go as we were. There was no thing of you have to dress up and things like that. So all of us loved that. The chapel is the first thing that we are grateful for. And then now we have all communities. But believe it or not, I'm not good in languages. It's just Hindi, maybe a little Marathi because I'm in Maharashtra, and English. But it's so easy to get on with everybody there. Everybody has a smile first and foremost. So that is enough for you to try and say something to them. And there are always interpreters around. So if they find you haven't understood, there'll always be a girl to say what she said or something like that. And by now, I think we are 32 of us. So we all get on like a big family. And I miss my children, I won't say no, but not in the way that I'm sort of, heartbroken or something like that. Because they are good, they are kind, they're still the same with me. And finances are always there if I need it. Fortunately, I get a decent pension, so I'm okay. But I know if push comes to shove, they are there as my, financiers. Hopefully I go off peacefully and there's no headaches for them. So that way, and I'm very positive. I have a positive nature, which Sister always says also. I don't think of anything that's gone. I just think of what I have to do for the future. And I always don't believe in wasting a day. I feel very sad if I wasted a day. And then I think to myself, what have I done today? Nothing. That's, not me. And I've always planned for the day what I will do. And I see the time that I have completed that. And by the evening, I just thank God for the beautiful day I've had. And I can't complain about any of the facilities that are in the home. The food, I'm not a fussy person, but I will say the food is very good, very well. The girls who are working in the kitchen do it beautifully, so clean and organized. We are served so cleanly. And the thing is, to tell you the truth, I like it served better than going into the kitchen and making the stuff. So that is very pleasing to me. So I welcome it when I go to the dining room. So, and all of us discussed that, how it is, no? When we wanted a cup of tea, we had to go and make it. But now we are just served, and we give the girls also such a big smile in a thank you. Because, it's sort of, it gives us so much more energy to do other things. Then I do a little help in the home, wherever I can help the sisters. Sometimes a few of us, we give English, we take them in English, the aspirants and all, who may not be up to the mark. A sister requests us, and we spare a little time to take them in English. Then we do the readings in the church for the next day maybe, read the rosary. So little ways in where we can, put in our bit, we do it. So by the grace of God, and my feedback from my friends is 90% of them agree with what I am saying now. I speak for all of them. So there will always be somebody who is not too pleased, but then that can't be helped. So the fruit of the sisters' labor, there are few sisters who are handling so many, and each one does their work so quietly, not like us make a big noise, but they do their work so quietly that by the evening, I don't know when they sit and when they sleep, because they're not seen. And I mean, they only seen, not heard rather. And the work is over. An organized sister, of course, has her meetings, and it's also organized beautifully. And I thank God every day, without fail, that I've chosen this home. And I wish these facilities were, for other old people also. I feel sad when I think of other old people who don't have these comforts. I pray for them, but that's all I can do. So, sister, since you are here, I thank you once again in front of everybody, in front of Dr. John, Father, and all my friends over here. I thank you as one of the lucky ones who has got a place, and I'm so happy. I just can't tell you how happy I am. My son gave me a warning when I told him I was coming for this. Mom, remember, others have to speak. So so I'm just telling you what I want to say to you. So with that last note, I will hand it over.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
speaking from your heart, from your experience. You not only shared your philosophy of life, which is so hopeful, you also gave us the testimony of your life. And I'm so grateful that you're able to look at not only what you have experienced as blessings, but the way that you have been a blessing to others. And we have to thank God and thank you for that. I'd like to move on to another person who's also been a source of blessing in the home. And maybe you can share how being in a home is not only something for you, but how you have reached out to others in the process.
Thank you, Father Juvie, for inviting me to this program. And thank you, Dr. John and Sister, for your insights, which are very good. 3 years ago, I was faced with a very important decision I had to make, and whether it was to go and live with my children in the States or to go to a home. And of course, they wanted me to come there, but I couldn't because of the weather, the very cold weather that doesn't agree with me. And so I just prayed to the Lord, and I said, Lord, you have to show me very clearly what your will and plan is for my life. Show me very clearly. And it all pointed out to going to a home. And so that's how I landed in Divina Eventide Home. And I knew that there would be some issues, because even in our own homes there are little issues with the maid not turning up or some little problems. And I knew even in the home there would be little issues. But my attitude towards the issues was important, how I dealt with it. And one can complain, grumble, be negative, but that only leads one down the slippery road to depression. And so I decided in my mind that I was going to be happy no matter what. And I can honestly say that I'm very happy. Now, since Father has asked me to share what my life is in the home, my day starts at 4 in the morning, and I spend a little quiet time with the Lord. And then after that, I do some exercise. Then I hear Mass when it's downstairs in the chapel. We have it thrice a week, so I go down and hear Mass. And the rest of the days, I hear the RMC Mass online. And then I'm also part of a women's group that, reaches out to mothers and their newborn babies. Now, these are very poor women who go only to these municipal hospitals. They are wives of these construction workers and come from very poor families. So we prepare 25 hampers, and at the end of 3 months, we go to the N2s to the hospital, to the municipal hospitals, and give the mothers these hampers. Each hamper consists of like 6 baby dresses, 6 nappies, 2 wrapping cloths, bibs, bonnet and booties, a little blanket, a pillow, and a towel for the mother. And it is so good and satisfying to see the smile on the mothers' faces when we give them that. Of course, I used to go when I was at home, but now that I'm far away, I'm not able to go. But I continue to do the crochet bonnets. And I've also taught some of the girls in the home, the caregivers who have time, to crochet, and they've learned well. Then I often go to visit the sick and the lonely, the ones who have, feel lost, and pray with them. And of course, talk to some of them who feel, that their children have just abandoned them, just left them there. And nothing of what you can say changes their mind, because they are so stuck in that. And you cannot change their minds, whatever you tell them. But I hope gradually they will change their minds. And and of course we do the reading in the in the chapel whenever I'm called to, or lead the rosary. And I'm going to be 89 now, And I have to prepare for my journey home. And this place has all the spiritual needs, Mass, the sacraments, Rosary, Adoration. And so I'm really blessed. And all these little things that I do is only by the grace of God, and who enables me to do this. And I give Him all the praise and the glory.
Thank you for that wonderful and personal testimony, because, just moving to home doesn't put your life on a pause. In fact, this is who you've been and this is who you continue to be. And I think that's a very marvelous grace, not only of who you are, but how you also reach out to others. Otherwise, as you said, you would go down the road of depression because you're so other-centered. And give thanks to God for that beautiful expression of your life and for sharing this with so many who are not only in this room, but those who will be listening online to what you just said. Thank you. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Aging Gracefully, a talk show for evergreens. I'm sure that in some way you will allow this to speak to you at different levels. So please, we invite you to like, to comment, to share, and to subscribe so that you will benefit from this and you will pass it on to others as well. Thank you for joining us. Let's hear for someone who's made the choice together with his mother, or what it means to continue in the family home, and what does that choice imply?
How can we get different aspects and stakeholders at the parish level who form a core aspect of the community the seniors live in? How do we get them all involved so that they don't feel lonely, they feel part of the bigger parish family? And when you talk about this, it's also very important to look at, okay, how can we support the seniors, especially those who want to stay at home?
I'd like to hear from you, what are some of the challenges you have? Because we heard all these facilities and the positive things from you and the members, but let's hear some of the challenges that are there. What I'd like to do is, we've put so many factors out here, whether it's caring for the elders in one's own family home, or whether we make a decision to move into an institutionalized home. And in our Christian tradition, we speak about something called discernment. It's a word that's used more and more frequently. I don't intend to give a whole discourse or a reflection on discernment, but just so that, having listened to all this conversation, how are you going to make this decision?